Okay, hello. My first video ever on YouTube or TikTok. My name is Andrew, straight to business. I have many interests, and the interests I'm going to cover, you can tell I'm a complete novice at this. I'm going to cover these videos on history, theology and politics. But for a while I will do videos on history. Though today a lot of mythology creeps in. That's because I want to talk about the origins of Rome. The origins of Rome are steeped in mythology, but archaeology has done much to give us an idea of the real story. So let's begin with the mythology. For many, this is going to be very familiar, but there's no harm in recapping. Here goes. So, according to tradition, including Homer, of course, there was a war between the Greeks and the Trojans, provoked by Prince Paris of Troy kidnapping and marrying Helen, the wife and queen of King Menelaus. This in time led to a 10-year Greek siege of Troy. This was led by Menelaus, brother King Agamemnon of Mycenae. As is well known, the story of the siege of Troy finishes with the Greeks capturing and destroying Troy with the help of Greek troops hidden inside a giant wooden horse, given as a fake diplomatic gift by the Greeks to the Trojans as an offering to Poseidon, but in reality a way of smuggling in soldiers to open up the city, making it vulnerable to attack by the Greek soldiers. Many Trojans fled from the city as it went up in flames and smoke. Among them was Aeneas carrying his father Anchises, and with him was Aeneas' son Iulus Ascanius. Aeneas' father did not last, but Aeneas and Iulus Ascanius teamed up with other Trojan refugees and built a fleet to take them to a new home. After many adventures, they had a long stay in the new city of Carthage, where Queen Dido, a Punic, as in Lebanese or Phoenician queen, reigned and was organising the building of this new city. Dido and Aeneas fell in love, but the gods reminded Aeneas of his destiny, and so he left Dido, who committed suicide, and so to Italy. He held funeral games for his father, then went down to the underworld, where he met Dido again, and was shown the glorious future of Rome, if you believe the poet Virgil's attempt to please Augustus and the imperial family in his poetry. Latinus, king of the Latins, welcomed Aeneas and Iulus Ascanius and used them and the Trojan refugees to help bolster the Latin army. Latinus, upon having a dream from the gods, decided to marry off his daughter Lavinia, who had been betrothed originally to Turnus, king of the Rutuli. Turnus declared war on Latinus and Aeneas, but the Latin Trojan army won and Aeneas killed Turnus. Aeneas founded the city of Lavinium, named after his wife Lavinia. After Aeneas died, his mother Venus petitioned Jupiter to make Aeneas a god, which Jupiter did. Aeneas became Jupiter Indigenes. Iulus Ascanius became king of Lavinium and later founded the city of Alba Longa and became its first king. After Ascanius' death, there was a long line of kings of Alba Longa, eventually leading to the birth of Romulus and Remus, in some versions Ascanius' descendants. Romulus and Remus, as grandsons of the ousted King Numitor, were regarded as a threat by King Amulius, Numitor's brother and usurper. Therefore, he seized the baby boys and had them abandoned by the bank of the river Tiber. Luckily, they were found by a she-wolf who nursed them. Interestingly, the Latin word for wolf, lupus, also means prostitute, as that has possible implications for an earlier lost version of this story. whereupon a Latin shepherd called Faustulus found them and took them home, and he and his wife brought them up. Later on, the boys, now grown up, got caught up in a dispute between supporters of Numitor and Amulius. Remus was arrested and imprisoned in Alba Longa. Both Amulius and Numitor suspected. See, this is my lack of experience coming through here, because I'm working from a prepared script. I'll get better as I go along. So they suspected that Remus was a family member. Then Romulus gathered an army to rescue Romulus. It was then that Romulus and Remus learned their true identities as Alba Longan princes. They helped Numitor, their grandfather, regain the throne, and Amulius was defeated and killed. Romulus and Remus hatched a scheme to build what became Rome in the Seven Hills. But who would be king? They decided on augury, hoping the birds flying overhead would signify the will of the gods. Remus stood on the Aventine Hill, his preferred site for the new city. Remus saw 6 suspicious birds, but Romulus on the Palatine Hill, his preferred site, saw 12 birds. Therefore he was the new king, and the city was to be called Rome after him. Their supporters began to gather for war. Remus jumped over the wall, mocking Romulus's work. Romulus then killed Remus and won the war. King Romulus welcomed vagabonds, criminals, refugees, riffraff to come to inhabit Rome. But there was a problem. Rome was a city of sad, criminal bachelors. Therefore Romulus hatched the infamous scheme for kidnapping the Sabine girls. He created a religious festival as a guise to mass kidnap the girls. The men folk in Sabine country declared war on Rome, but the women dramatically intervened in the fighting between their husbands on the one hand and their dads and brothers on the other. They brokered peace. Romulus went on to create the Roman institutions, including the Senate. At one such meeting of the Senate, 40 years into his reign, a cloud came down, and when it left, Romulus was gone, believed to have been taken to heaven by Jupiter and made into the god Quirinus, or, as cynical people have suggested, a fog came down and senators bumped him off. As is well known, the year that Romulus and Remus founded Rome is 753 BC, or BCE, depending on your preferred way of counting the era. But what is the truth behind it? The following discussion, beginning the exploration of Rome in a series of YouTube videos and channel, closely follows, in this video specifically, the scholarly notes of R.M. Ogilvy in introducing the first 5 books of Livy in Penguin Classics translation in the volume of the early history of Rome. After discussing ancient literary sources for Rome's origins, I will present a video or videos on the actual historical and archaeological sources and evidence for Rome's origins based on solid, high-quality secondary sources, by which I mean modern scholarly accounts of Rome's origins, examining the mythology and archaeology. First shock. Though not to those already in the know, but Rome is a lot older than 753 BC. It's from more like 1000 BC. Even the mythology has some kind of subconscious race memory of older origins. Not only has Rome multiple foundation stories stretching generations like Aeneas through to Romulus and Remus, but stories of Lavinium, Alba Longa, a Greek king on the Palatine called Evander, point to an awareness of earlier layers of Rome and its surrounding cities' origins, than the official version. Indeed, Livy was aware that the official version had different versions looking behind it. And that's actually as far as the script went. This is the first practice run for what will hopefully be a successful series, and it will get a lot better than this, and hopefully I'll get to the standard of the visuals that you'll see in normal creator content and reactions. This is the first time I've literally done anything like this, and I hope I whet your appetite for the rest, and I'll try to prepare the scripts better. In fact, next time I'm going to do a different subject, which will be about my ancestry, some aspects of my ancestry which I've been working on, some of my more distant ancestors, as I try to work my way through stuff which is relevant to classical and medieval history, especially regarding the survival of the Roman Empire after the West fell in 476. So here I am, over and out, my first video ever.